welcome to Out for the Count TV. This is James Featherstone. We're joined with none other than welterweight prospect Joe Hayden. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm all good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, fella. Not too bad. Like I said before, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you for having me on, mate.
No problem at all. So, if it's all right with you, we take it to the start first of all. So before the boxing, you were banging goals in for Frickley AFC, and then you made the jump to the ring. How did you make that transition?
Yeah, I wouldn't say banging goals in. Scoring wasn't my forte. More just chuffing, sticking my head on it, and we're a bad little passer to be fair. But now the transition, I boxed since being a kid, really, just on and off. I never fully committed myself to it. I always preferred playing football as a kid, and obviously it's what your mates do in it. And as a kid, you wanna be with your mates all the time. So I played football. I did both at a time, and I had a skills bout when I was 11 years old. And then my mum gave me ultimatum really when I was younger, football or boxing. Obviously, I chose football to be with my mates, and then stuck at it for years. And then I got an injury in 2018, 2019. And I just couldn't really get back into it, to be honest with you. It was just lingering in my head all the time, and I struggled to get back into it. And then, because I like to keep fit and I like to be busy, I thought, I'll go and get boxing, go down to the boxing gym, get back in shape a bit. And then I just sort of stuck with it, really, and just sort of like fell in love with it a bit. And then lockdown come and gym shut, and me and my little brother kept fit, really, in garden, body sparring and open sparring and stuff together. And then that's when Dave messaged my little brother initially to go down and do a session with him. And I was at work that day. And the day after, I went down, and I've been training with Dave ever since and never looked back.
Brilliant, brilliant. So how soon was it after, getting back into the training? How soon was it you got into the amateurs?
I think it was about 6 months initially. My first amateur fight back, I think I was 18 or 19. I've been in gym for about 6 months to a year, and then I had a bout. I lost that, and then we went into lockdown not long after. And then and obviously I started training with Dave during lockdown. And then my next fight after that would have been when I was 21, I think, and then not lost since then.
Yeah. So I did see that you'd impressed in the amateurs so much that it became quite difficult for you to start getting fights, and you sort of turned pro quite early through that. What lessons did you sort of learn while you was an amateur?
Yeah, just learning the game, really. Obviously, I've not had much experience in boxing at all, so it was just more learning about the sport and learning my style, learning everything to do with it, really. The sparring most important. That's the main thing. Like Dave's sparred us all of it. Like we go all over the place sparring, and like I say, you got to learn to be. You got to love to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and go into different gyms everywhere, sparring different people every time. It's uncomfortable, and it's almost like a bout when you're going to someone's gym. They don't want to come and get the upper hand, so they're giving it the best as well. So it's almost like a bout, really, if not harder than a bout. So just the experience, really.
Yeah. So on the subject of sparring, you've obviously sparred some great fighters, most notably Jack Catterall. How beneficial was that sparring, and is there any other sparring partners who you've learned a lot from?
Yeah, Jack's unbelievable. He's one of the best fighters in his weight division in the world for a reason. He's just so smart and sharp, and his boxing IQ is unbelievable. And you learn a lot from Jack just from copying, just being in there with him, and you notice him doing little things, and you think, oh, I might try that, and you pick it up. Yeah, the learning from sparring Jack's been unbelievable, and I think it's brought me on a ton. And
I can imagine.
Good names, really, like Shaquille Thompson's good, Dante Dixon's an unbelievable fighter, Dalton Smith, some really, really top professionals.
Yeah, I can imagine you've learned a lot from all them. They're all sort of doing bits in the scene at the minute, aren't they? Really?
Definitely, yeah.
So when you are training, I've noticed you've said in the past that you don't really do training camps. You like to stay in fighting form all year round, really. What motivates you to stay in such good condition?
I don't know what it is, to be honest. It's just I just want to give myself the best chance possible, I think, and I think to do that,
Yeah,
I've got to constantly be on it, and because I know I'm behind anyway, because all these lads that I'm up competing against are the people that I want to beat in the future. They've all been at it since they were little kids, so they've
yeah,
had years and years of doing it, and they can probably afford to have a fight and have a few more fights at the gym, and then come
yeah,
back on it. Whereas where I'm behind, I just feel like I need to keep going and make up for lost time, really. So that's my motivation more than anything, really. And another one
yeah,
is I see myself. I'm a professional athlete now, and I think I owe it to people like my sponsors and the people who come and watch me every week, and just general people in general. Really, I think I'm a professional athlete, and as a professional athlete, I should be in shape all year round, and I should always be training, and I shouldn't be blowing up outside of fights.
yeah. How long do you think it's going to be before we see you up against the big names in the division, or is the focus still on trying to get the rounds in and you build up the experience?
Yeah, I think obviously I've had my first 10 fights now, 10 4-rounders,
Yeah,
and I've got my rounds in, and I've not lost a single round yet, and hopefully this fight or my next fight is my last 4-rounder, and then we'll start pushing on to sixes, and then we go from there, really. And I
yeah,
think next year to the next 18 months is when I'll start really kicking on and pushing on in my career, I think. And in
yeah,
18 months,
definitely.
I'll start looking for them big fights and hopefully looking for titles.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, as you mentioned, obviously you're fighting on the October the 6th. How's the preparation going for that fight? And has your opponent been announced yet?
Yeah, preparation's been really good. Been sparring, been sparring all over again, and I've had some rounds with Jack for it, and the likes of Dante and your Shaquille's and people like that have been sparring everyone. And this fight's been different because obviously last year I was so busy. I had 10 fights in 12 months.
Yeah,
So it was like just constantly ticking over for the next fight. Whereas this one, I've had that gap in between. And I feel really good for it because I can fully focus on my training and getting better rather than worrying about the next fight. This
yeah,
camp, it's been about just learning and getting my boxing better for this one. So I'm really looking
yeah,
forward to getting back out there and showing the improvements. My
definitely.
opponent is, as I think it's going to be MJ Hall. So it'd be
Oh, nice one.
my first southpaw, and he's good. MJ, tough man.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So I've got to ask you about GBM Promotions. It's not your first time fighting on their card. They do seem to be putting a lot of resources into grassroots boxing. What do you think sets GBM up, from the other promotional companies?
GBM are brilliant. They've been putting on unbelievable shows. To say that they've only been going 2 years, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah,
The quality of show that they put on is unbelievable, and the production, the thought, and everything what they put into the productions top quality. You don't even see that on some of these big promoters on these big shows. But no, I think to call GBM small all would be a bit offensive to them. I think because
I fully agree.
it's not small all boxing. It's at the minute I think it's like good in between small all. And it's getting fighters like myself and your Reese Molds and your Namans and your people like that. It's getting them ready for the big stage. And I think
Definitely.
they're doing a really, really good job. And in years to come, and I think in the near future, I think you'll be seeing them on the big platforms.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all, to be honest. I do think, there's only one way that company is going, and that's up, really. But yeah, moving on to your training sort of camp. You've mentioned you trained by Dave Allen. How would you describe Dave as a trainer, and how instrumental has he been to the successes that you're having in so early on in your career?
Dave's an unbelievable trainer, and I think Dave will be one of the best trainers in the country in years to come. I really, honestly do believe that. What Dave knows about boxing is unbelievable. I don't think people understand his boxing IQ. It's top notch, and the things that he's taught me in such a short space of time. If he can take me from what I was to what I am now in what 3 years, then he can do anything with anybody. And I
Yeah,
really do believe that in years to come that he'll be a top class trainer, one of the best in the country.
yeah,
He just knows how to get the best out of people,
yeah,
and obviously you mix that with his knowledge of boxing and how he teaches it. He's he's gonna he's gonna create some really good fighters.
yeah. At one point in Dave's career, he was trained by Brendan Engel. As he sort of like, does he implement any Brendan Engel tactics in your sort of training?
Yeah, definitely. There's bits you can see that there's bits and bobs from every coach that he's been to. Like he's been with
Yeah,
like Peter Fury, obviously Jamie Moore more recently,
yeah,
uh, Engel, and you can see that things he does, he takes a bit from there and a bit from there, and he just adds it all together, and you can see that. And I think that's why his training's so good.
yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, while we're on the subject of Team White Rhino, I've got to say it does look like one of the tightest knit teams in boxing. Does it? What kind of a boost does it give you having that kind of team behind you?
It is. It's quality of this little team that Dave's made in the last few years. It is. It's really good. It's like we're like a little family, and
Yeah,
we all want the best for each other, and we're all at each other's fights together. We travel all over together. Obviously, we see each other quite a lot. Me, Dave, and Liam, especially, we see each other twice a day, every day for hours really. And yeah, it's just a proper good buzz. And when you're in camp and you're training and you're traveling all over and you're doing all this, it's just good to know that you're doing it with good people and your best mates really. And that it
yeah,
just makes it all worth doing.
yeah. Everything that like the pictures that you see getting put out, it's almost got a bit of a family feel around it, to be honest.
It is, yeah. It's like because we're all quite local to each other as well. It's like feels like we've known each other years. It feels like we've grown up together. And obviously,
Yeah.
like I said, we see each other every day for hours, days on end. So yeah, it's like a brotherhood really. And yeah, it is. It's nice.
And also your stablemate Stevie Lever, she's about to step up for the European title fight. How influential and inspiring is it having her treading a path that you're likely to take very soon in the near future?
It is quality to see Stevie doing so well, and since she's come and been training with Dave, there's been some real improvements, and she's really looking really good. And I'm looking forward to this fight because the improvements that I've seen in the gym. There's no reason why she can't go and beat this girl and bring home a European title, and that'd be amazing for everybody in the team, and
Yeah,
especially for Stevie because she deserves it. She trains really hard, and something like this would be amazing for her.
it definitely shows, especially since she's been with Dave, the improvements anyone can see. So this weekend marks the return of Conor Ben fighting Mexican Rodolfo Orozco, and I probably butchered that. What are your thoughts on how the Conor Ben situation is being handled, and how do you see the fight playing out?
You know what? I never even realised you were boxing. I literally saw that tonight, and I never realised it was happening until I seen it earlier. Then I had to double look. I didn't realise you were making a return. But
Yeah, same.
yeah, it is what it is. And I try not to get too involved with stuff like this or get too invested in reading into it. I just try and mind my own business and focus on my own training and that. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? A lot you see a lot of people that are getting done these days, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
getting serious bans, but you don't know. Obviously Ben's saying he's innocent, and people are backing his innocence. So you can only believe him. You just don't
Yeah,
know, do you?
yeah. That's the thing. We as the spectating public, we ain't got the the facts to see. So you know, who
Yeah,
can make a judgment really?
exactly. You can say he's done this and he's done that, or you can say he hasn't done it, but nobody really knows.
Yeah. How do you see the fight playing out then with Ben?
I don't know. I don't really know the lad he's fighting, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'm sure he's like ranked 50 in Mexico. So I think it is just to get him going again.
Yeah, bit of demolition job on Ben's side, won't it? I think.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah,
the thing about Ben is he's always in the gym, isn't he? And he's always training, he's always in shape. So So he's one of them. He's always going to be fighting fit, and yeah, it'll be an explosive performance from Ben. I imagine.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Moving forward, in the last few years, YouTube boxing seems to have made a big splash in the world of boxing. What's your opinion on it, and do you think it's good for the sport?
It's mixed. I think it is good for the sport because it's bringing new eyes to the sport, and it's bringing eyes to the sport that wouldn't necessarily have been interested in boxing ever, but because their favourite YouTubers all of a sudden fighting, it's getting them interested in the sport,
Yeah,
and it could be good for boxing. It could keep a lot of amateur gyms open because a lot of these people, like I said, would never usually be interested in boxing, and they might think, "Oh, I'll give that a go myself," and then they rock up at local amateur gyms. So no, it'd be good, but at the same time, I can see why people don't like it because there's fighters like myself and people who've been at it since they were kids. Obviously, I hadn't been at it that long, but people who've been at it since they were kids and been training all their lives, trying to get to this point where they're fighting for not just titles, but it's about money at the end of the day, isn't it? And
exactly. It's a business.
that's why you do it. You do it to earn money and make a good life out of it. And like I said, these have been training all their life, and all of a sudden these YouTubers come out of nowhere and they're earning millions for one fight, and you can see
Yeah,
why people at the same time are against it. So it has its pros and it has its cons, I think.
yeah. So if you woke up tomorrow and KSI'd added you on Twitter, would you set the fight?
I'd be all over it, yeah. He's a few weight classes above me, but I don't think he'd have a chance, to be honest.
No, I agree. I agree.
And I'd take a few million for it as well. After that, I'd be good. Chuff it up.
Yeah, you're right.
David gets to buy a few houses straight away. Get it straight on marketplace.
You're right, mate. So the latest boxer or former boxer even to call out Jake Paul is Amir Khan. What are your thoughts if that fight was to be made?
Is Khan called him out? I've not seen that.
He has, yeah.
That'd be I'm gonna box his head off. I think Khan's
Do you think?
unbelievable, isn't it? Like obviously he's retired and what have you now, but back in he was unbelievable, and I can't see someone like Jake Paul getting near Amir Khan, to be honest.
Yeah,
But you never know. But I thought, hadn't he been banned for?
yeah. I think something come up not so long back. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's sort of gone silent on that front, I think.
Yeah, but no, it'll be an interesting fight, to be honest, and it'll be a good fight because obviously everyone's out in Jake Paul for not fighting real boxers and what have you. So it'd be good on
Yeah.
Jake Paul's side as well to fight someone like Amir Khan. But I can't see him beating your Amir Khans.
No, no. To be honest, every time like the new Jake Paul fight gets announced, I always sort of bet against him, and it just doesn't seem to be happening. And I think, what is going? How is he managing this?
I mean, you got to take your hat off to him because for the last few years while he's been doing this boxing, he's lived the life of a professional boxer, and he's got all the best trainers, all the best equipment, all the best gyms, everything. He's got the money to afford everything, and everything he'll have will be the best of the best. So, and he's put the work in, so you can't fault him really. He's he's not done bad, to be fair.
Definitely not, mate. Definitely not. Well, yeah, I think that sort of concludes me questions. But like I said before, I do appreciate your time, and thank you for being my debut interview.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. We'll have to catch up again after October the 6th. I will be actually coming to the event.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. No, definitely, mate. We'll get something sorted for after. Definitely.
Brilliant. Nice one for that, Joe.